Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Libations Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you get to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But, hey, if you missed something, all 3 hours are going to be posted as they are every day, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. So you can catch up at your leisure. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Twitter, I say that every day. Forget about that I said it, and then I repeat it like an idiot. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com is what I was trying to say. That's the email address. WTSM app for your mobile devices. And what else do we have there? YouTube, that's right. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Thanks for watching the show. All right. A lot of audio for you today. We didn't get to play it yesterday. We wanted to, but I just started a coughing fit right before we went on the air.
That's not a problem. I can tell people that another way they can catch up with the show is on this thing called the radio dial. And
they would be listening to that now.
If you tune it on 97.9 or thereabouts on the FM side of the dial, you might actually hear us, that's pretty cool.
Well, that's a given. I always just start with the assumption that that's what they're listening to. And then just letting them know all the other ways, because that's the primary outlet. It's a radio program.
It is?
Yeah. But just so many ways to catch it, because, Lord knows the people need to get their fill on a daily basis of this here program. Anyhow, so we get through the coffee fit. We'll be okay this hour. On Wednesday, I went over for SiriusXM, or on behalf of, or employed by, and did a camp tour for Florida State University that was played last night from 7 to 9 on College Sports Nation. That's their big-time college football station, and it's number 84. But anyhow, if you missed that, or you don't have satellite, or you don't care, what you will care about is the audio from it, because we had Jimbo Fisher and Stan Wilcox and a lot of other people, and I got to share those duties with Andy Stables from Sports Illustrated. So it was fun, but today we benefit because we can play that, or you benefit because you're going to hear from Alec Eberle, and who, by the way, whose story is interesting. We've spent enough time kind of speculating about whether or not Florida State's offensive line will be any good, or whether he's good enough to play center or not. And really, those questions can't be answered definitively until we start the season. But he is somebody that you'll hear from this hour, and next hour you will hear from Derwin James, and you'll hear also from Stan Wilcox. In the 5 o'clock hour, you'll hear from Jimbo Fisher. But Eberle is a guy that looks a lot better than he did a year ago. When he came into the room, I could tell he's a lot bigger. He's put on a good kind of weight. And he seems certainly to be much more confident, and talked about all of the things that having the offseason surgery did for him. I can't imagine how frustrating that might have been. I asked that question. You'll hear this interview at the end of the hour. To not be able to do certain things that you have to be able to do to succeed, and then to constantly be ripped, as you might have guessed. I did. I ripped him. So
I never did.
The fan base certainly. Well, and this is one case where I don't have to go back and think of the things I said, but rather go back and think of the things you said. You said. You're unfriendly to our sinners.
There's a standard here at Florida State. Some may say it's a mythical standard.
Yeah.
Because once out of every, 4 or 5 years,
you
we
get
do
a guy that's a beast.
what the scheme calls for us to be able to do. It's a tough scheme for a center. That's no lie. I'm not trying to even be funny there. It's not an easy job. You got to get your checks right, and then they ask you to climb either to the second level, or they just ask you to do so much so quickly. Hopefully, greater mobility leads to greater success.
Well, yeah, and greater stability, because he can bend, he can play with leverage now, he can do things. First of all, he can get stronger by going to the weight room.
Yeah, stability.
And do things that he couldn't do. Yeah, and so that's the whole thing. But I'm rooting for him. I said that yesterday. I'll say it again here. I'm rooting for him because I got to think it's infinitely frustrating if you are tasked with a responsibility and your body betrays you and you can't do it, but you still want to help the team and get out there. I think you asked the question yesterday, which I was thinking about the whole time talking to him. When you find out that not only does he have bones shaved down and his labrums and his hips are torn and all this stuff, I thought, well, why did we keep rolling him out there? Like we had no other options? Is that how bad we are or bad off we are at center?
It also lends the question. It's kind of like the receiver core, right? How much do you have to know to be able to get to that level where you're playing consistently? And we speculated about that when it came to Keith Gavin. Interesting answer that Keith Gavin gave you on media day, which was, I wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready, yeah.
Plain and simple. The player told you he wasn't ready, not the coach saying he's not ready while the player says something different. No, the player said out front, I'm not ready. But the center position does require a little bit extra thinking, and you got to know the nuances of the offense. And I just wonder, instead of playing right guard, how much more intricate is center, and how much more do you need to know? How much more do you need to be on top of? Because one would think if it wasn't that intricate, you might have had a solution in a true freshman named Bavion Johnson, who's just a Mack truck.
Well, and is apparently hurt. Jimbo Fisher saying that he's injured, and to what degree we do not know. And so I guess we'll await further clarification there, but that's not good news. Obviously, it's disconcerting to say the least to hear that, because that's a group that frequently suffers from injury. It's down in the trenches. It's nasty.
Yeah, plain and simple, yesterday Jimbo was asked in really out of context way, too, is he dealing with an injury, Bavion Johnson? He said, yeah. And then about a minute or two later, he comes back to it, another question to follow up. He says, I don't know. When I know, it's an injury he's dealing with, but when I know, I'll tell you guys. And that's the tone. That's I think you've seen the clip just as I have. That's pretty much the tone he delivered it, which is, I don't know. But when I know, you will.
Well, and I also think if you're him, that's your answer for anything. I just think he should take that tact. It should always be, especially when it comes to injuries or speculation about a player's academic status or anything else. It should just be, when we know something, we'll let you know. Because I think you further create rumor, innuendo, conjecture when you are seeking to dodge the question, or you give an answer filled with maybe half-truths. And, go back. I don't want to rehash this, but coaches get themselves in trouble. This is a tactic coaches, in their efforts to try to buy time, they create further curiosity amongst the press if they give answers that are either incomplete or lacking, for lack of a better term. And then that causes one to want to look in a little bit closer as to what really is going on. And so it doesn't serve their purpose. What they ought to say is, I'm not at liberty to talk about that right now, and when I know more information, I'll certainly let you know. That shuts everything down. There's nothing more to ask as a reporter. You can specifically say, what's wrong with Bavion Johnson? Well, he's injured. We don't know to what extent. I'm really not at liberty to say now until further tests are done. I'll get back to you when we know more. We're done here. If Matthew Thomas is missing practices and you say he's sick, which he very well may have been, but you say he's sick, and it extends beyond what a normal range of sickness is, and we're at 5 days, 7 days, 9 days, 14 days.
Oh, now he's ill.
Well, now he's got the plague in the eyes of many. Like, how could you be out for 14 days? Well, maybe saying he was sick buys you 24 to 48 hours, maybe even 72. But at some point, if this thing is not resolved, people know he's not sick, and they want to know what's going on, and you're creating a reasonable doubt amongst reporters, and people are going to continue to hound you. If you're waiting on something such as completion of a coursework or whatever it might be, then you say, he was sick, he was missing time there, but there's some other things that have to be cleared up with him, and I'm not at liberty to talk about them right now. When we know more, I'll let you know. We're done here. We're just done. All coaches, they get themselves in this kind of trouble sometimes. He didn't do that yesterday, thankfully. He did what you should do, which is he's injured.
I'm glad he shut it down, man. But what the hell's wrong with Bavion? How serious is it? That's the fan base, and that's rightly the follow-up question. I just hope that kid's okay, because I would think he would be one of your primary go-tos in the interior if you need someone else.
Feels like it's all the more pressing when we hear these things now, because it's nitty-gritty time, man. We're in single digits away from the start of college football, which,
Yikes.
Single digits, baby.
Oh, got the chills.
That gives you reason to smile, but also, and that's not true of FSU. They're more than single digits away from playing, but college football starts in less than 10 days.
Oh, Florida State will always be in the double digits, it feels like. Always.
You know what I didn't get? Yeah, you're getting frustrated. I can sense it. Hey, I'll get to last night's preseason game. Really, it's really easy. I don't even need to get to it. Last night's preseason game is this. Bonehead play inside the red zone by Jameis. Can't do that. When you do that, it's unsettling to know that that's still in there. However, I'm not letting it overshadow the fact that he looks really good in rhythm, pinpoint accuracy, and now has some weapons to go with. Things are going to be all right. Just don't do things like that, Jameis. That's immature and stupid. And for you to be in that upper stratosphere of elite quarterbacks, you can't make that throw. But I don't labor and go on with that like some people in the press like to do. Everything else was fine. He's going to make some mistakes. They look good. They've got some people now on that first team that suggest the Bucs are going to be all right. The other side of that is the Jags suck. And that's going to be a terribly long year for them. There is an element of hope that when they get their starting corners in there, and obviously moving away from Bortles as quarterback is a must. He stinks, and now it's in his head. Because you're seeing him do things that are even beneath the standard that he showed he could play at by far. At one time, he showed he could play a little bit. He's so far removed from that now. I'm not a quarterback coach, but I don't have to be to know that when you watch him and he drops his hands down below his waist, he's doing things mechanically that layman can tell are not the way it's not the mechanics of a sound quarterback. So he's struggling right now, and that usually happens when you're thinking too much and you got problems and you're lacking confidence. But, the Jags just have real issues, and maybe some of those are remedied when Leonard Fournette comes back and they can run the ball and limit the passing game and maybe play a modicum of defense and try to find their way to 8-8. But that's not a real good team.
You like your receivers if you're a Jacksonville fan. I know they dropped a couple last night, but it's the freaking preseason, so that's going to be all right. If you could just draw up a scenario where, yes, all of your starters are there on defense, the corners, because you could see it right away. I mean, the Bucs went right to work and saying, oh, boy, these are your defensive backs. Mm-hmm. And then you have your receivers combined with Henny and then a running attack. Your run-first offense that runs probably 25, 30 times a game.
Tragically bad. Maybe
right.
It's just 8 bad.
You can't go up and win a football game, 38-35 in the NFL, but you might be able to win more than a handful of games 24-20 or something like that.
Well, I just think what it does, you're right, there is another avenue by which the Jags could look a lot better. And I don't go crazy about preseason. I said this on yesterday's show, so I'm not going to go crazy here either. Good and bad. But Blake Bortles can't be your quarterback.
Correct.
I mean, that's what we're getting at
here.
No
arguments here.
We're done. He can't be your quarterback. I mean, he missed 2 really wide-open throws and big play opportunities, and he can't be your quarterback.
The moment that Henny steps in and should have had a touchdown on his first pass, that's the moment he became the quarterback. That's it. We're done here. Like Bortles had a couple opportunities down the field and missed them, and then Henny comes in and he throws a seed, which Vernon Hargreaves needs to get better against man coverage.
But Vernon,
listen, I was on board with Vernon when we picked him, but if you're going to get beat twice backpedaling by a simple post, I'm just hoping that the scheme was calling for you to do something different, because that doesn't look good. It doesn't look good to a layman who doesn't know what you're being asked to do, but it looks like ass consistently. So, yeah.
I think Vernon's interesting. I'm not prepared to wash my hands of Vernon Hargrave just yet.
Me either, but good Lord.
But I am getting there. I'm getting there. That's all I'm going to say about that. We're getting closer to, maybe that wasn't the pick.
Not done yet. I know TPE is typing away right now. He's saying, oh, well, here you go.
Yeah. Well, he has his moments, though. That's true, too. There are times where you go, okay, there it is. Here's what I think. Actually, what you want to do, yeah, no, that's terrible.
Backpedal
I don't
against
know.
A simple seam?
No, that's crazy. That can't happen. But here's what I will say. What I think he is a guy that is good enough to start in the NFL, but he was a first-round pick. And so when that happens, the expectations go up a little bit to where you got to be more than just a serviceable corner. I need you to be better than a serviceable corner. And right now, he's nothing more than that.
From an expectation standpoint, yes, but GM Cameron would tell you, hey, if I'm drafting somebody in the first round who's a year in, year out starter, that's a successful draft pick.
It is a successful. It's not a failure. It's not. The degree of success is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Even by my definition, what I say about the draft, because it is very difficult to get it right at all times. Even good GMs make these mistakes year in and year out. You see this. If I draft a guy that's still in the league 8 years from now as a starter, that's not a failure. It's just not, by any definition. But, admittedly, now the exception is the quarterback position. If I drafted a quarterback that's still in the league 6-7 years from now as a starter and he stinks as a starter, because you have to have a franchise quarterback, because you want to build around a guy and it's a quarterback-driven league, I do hold them to different standards. I do. So, pick any middling quarterback, Alex Smith. If I take him and he's my quarterback,
Number 1 overall, right?
yeah, that's not very good. I mean, he's not a difference
Oh,
maker.
what could have been in that Super Bowl run.
I know you're going to live in that moment, but that moment has since passed, and he is not. That's not who you want as your quarterback. So that's an interesting gauge that we use. But yeah, man, if I'm taking you as a top pick and you're just a middling player at your position, that's frustrating. If he's a first-round pick, it's just frustrating. And we had higher hopes. I think we would both agree. Right now, unless he takes it to another level, Hargraves is going down the wrong road. The road to disappointment, Tom.
He's backpedaling too.
That's weird.
That's like the first thing Saban teaches you. You don't backpedal.
Never.
That's
you
how-
can't move quickly backpedaling. It's as simple as that.
You end up on your ass.
Well, you have no. There's so many things wrong with it. Yes, it's unsettling. Don't do that. That was really, really aggravating. It was weird too.
I'm glad. Okay, see, I'm glad I'm not alone there because it happened a second time. The first time, whatever.
Well, you get caught. Maybe you're out of position. Something weird happened.
Boy.
Got twisted around. Tried to. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
On North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney.
Hey, it's me, Marissa.
Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the fourth quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the fourth quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the fourth quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the fourth quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the fourth quarter bar and grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. travel experts are here 24/7 to help.
800-298-5783. 800-298-5783. 800-298-5783. 800-298-5783.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna. I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Old school Uncle Tupelo, nicely done on a Libations Friday. I like that we are directly associated with Shady Tampa. That we're the ones that embrace and love Tampa and rip it all the same, like you can members of your family, but you don't let other people. Although I'm not so sensitive. You know, whenever I rip the city of Jacksonville for the Landing and the cigarettes and wings, the people in Jacksonville get so touchy. They really get upset.
It never fails.
I think they're used to being kind of spat upon. So they feel like that I'm just throwing more logs on the fire.
Well, what about Tampa?
Yeah. Which I always laugh at because I make fun of Tampa all the time. Anyhow.
Like, what
exactly.
about it?
Yeah, what about it? Anyhow, so what's funny about that is this. The reason I say it is that in my inbox and on Twitter, you get any story that has to do with something that that reveals the shadiness of Tampa. And the latest, of course, is my man Hugh Freeze getting caught up in shady Tampa. The headline reads, Report. Hugh Freeze's calls to escort services lined up with recruiting trips.
Not just screwing, Mitch.
Phone calls to escort services that led to the removal of former Ole Miss head coach Hugh Freeze came while he was traveling on recruiting trips in the school's plane. That, according to the Wall Street Journal. My man was doing it up ahead of time, Tom. Hey, I'm going to be here. Going to need my lady friends. Let's call ahead to the escort services.
Not just screwing, Mitch.
He resigned, as you guys know, on July the 20th after the Ole Miss officials said they found a concerning pattern in his phone calls, later revealed to be calls to escort services. The call that tipped the school off was a January 19th, 2016 call to a Tampa escort service. That call was uncovered by former Rebels head coach Houston Nutt's attorney as part of a defamation lawsuit against the school. The school initially believed the call was a misdial, but further investigated and found it was no accident. Although school officials had previously declined to characterize the alleged misconduct, Ole Miss athletic director Ross Bork said in response to questions from the Journal about Freeze's travel that the university's investigation covered calls of a similar nature over the course of several years, often matching up with travel logs showing the school's use of the school plane. School said it examined his travel logs from a peak recruiting time, often November, December, and January, when Freeze would travel outside of the state using the school plane and other public resources while making the calls in advance to the escort services. Well, it's chilly in those months, Tom. You can't be alone.
Hey there, Misty. I'll be down with my jumbo jet this time next Thursday.
And by jumbo jet, you know what I mean. The analysis of Freeze's travel showed he called other phone numbers that when you Google them, pull up websites that reveal other escort services.
Not just screwing, Mitch.
Freeze was the Rebels' most successful coach in recent memory, which is painful when you consider that his total record at Ole Miss is 39-25. Raging success at Ole Miss at 39-25. We all remember they did at one point rise to as high as number 3 in the AP poll, but that's when the voting world and media were caught up in this hoax of the SEC West being the greatest thing that football ever had to offer.
It was a hoax?
Turned out that way.
I thought it was the greatest quality football these eyes have ever seen on a week-to-week basis.
That story with him is so fun and layered, and, may I suggest any number of articles that are out there. Schleybaugh wrote a good one. There are plenty of articles that can take you down the rabbit hole of my man Hugh Freeze and Ole Miss and how this got revealed and the kinds of hubris that was necessary. I mean, again, an apology, a single apology would mean today that Hugh Freeze is still employed by Ole Miss, making millions of dollars, set to embark on yet another season. But ego, pride, hubris of that magnitude is something to behold, because it's what's led to what surely now will be the end of his marriage and to some degree career. And he had the opportunity to redact any phone call he wanted. That's a school telling you, we don't really want to know, so do what you got to do. Here are the phone records before we start looking into all of this. Are there any numbers on here that you would want to redact for personal reasons? We're not interested in your personal life and exploring your friends and family or anything else. We just need to look at the professional calls. We need to see when you were talking to reporters and other people. That's it. So are there any numbers here that you would like to redact? Hey, dumbass, the ones to the escort service. That's a good place to start. If you know you've called an escort service and you're married with kids, even if you weren't married with kids, but you are married with kids, okay? And they give you the opportunity to redact calls. I imagine you're going to sit there with your attorney, first of all, and that must have been one crappy attorney. But secondly, wouldn't that be the first thing? So you're the guy who's done this over the course of years. The first thing you bring up to your attorney when you walk in the room and you're about to go through the process of vetting those phone calls and finding out what's to what, you shut that door, lock that door, look around and go, listen here, Paul. Now, you know how I get down. So why don't we start right there?
First of all, that's how I met you, you know?
Yeah. You know how we like to party. So why don't we start with those calls? All that other stuff, whatever. Those calls. Yeah. In particular, those calls are the ones we're redacting.
The ones to the special recruits?
Yeah. I mean, come on, my man.
Not the recruits. The special recruits.
Blows me away still. College football is fun to cover for a lot of reasons, some of which are indeed the scandals and how silly guys look. Look, I get it, man. People are broken. We all are to some extent, okay? And if you go through with a fine-tooth comb anybody's life, and I'm not talking to this extent, obviously, but if you do that, you'll find things that from afar you'd cringe. You'd go, oh, man, he said or did that, or my gosh, a phone record would reveal any number of things. Texts amongst friends, just the cold, hard words themselves,
sure,
taken out of context, would probably make anybody blush. If you just handed over your phone to somebody, that's why when Brady wouldn't do it, I said, well, I wouldn't have either, because what are you going to trust the NFL? That they're only going to look to see that he was texting that guy in the equipment room about the deflation of balls? No, they would have leaked any texts he had to anybody, salacious or otherwise, and I'm not suggesting he's involved in anything he shouldn't be, but if you take anybody's text records or anybody's emails or phone calls and take them out of context, and, you're going to make somebody look bad easily. So I wouldn't have turned over my phone either. But over the years, I always marvel, and that's why I say I don't just, take great glee in the ruination of a guy over phone call records, but rather the stupidity of how he, how this could have been avoided.
Yeah, easily avoided. And it is a good attorney too. Hugh, I'm looking. Where are the recruiting services calls? You mean the ones to Rivals 247? No,
of course not.
No,
Hugh.
No, the recruiting services calls. Hugh.
I
just wonder if he lied to his attorney.
He would have had
maybe
to.
He was so proud where he says, "Oh, there were none of those." Hugh, I'm your attorney. We are bound. There's a privilege here.
Yeah, I can't talk about this, and I'm not here to judge you. You make me a lot of money, Hugh, frankly.
No, there's nothing there. Well, all right, Hugh. I'll keep taking your money.
The funny story I told you that time, we're up against it, but you know how doctors and lawyers, it's their job to kind of cut through the nonsense and to just ask pointed questions that can make one feel very uncomfortable, especially if you haven't done anything.
Sometimes literally in a doctor's case.
Right,
Yeah.
but, I mean, they have to ask you things. It's their job. It's what they're supposed to do. And you have to know that, but it is embarrassing still because if you haven't done what's implied or been involved in activities that could lead to problems, but they say, hey, listen, just standard operating procedure. You're a new client. I got to ask you, What, have you ever done any intravenous drug use? Or, they're asking you questions where you might be like, what the hell, doc? A lawyer, that lawyer. I think you're right. That lawyer had to have said to him, now, Hugh, I'm not saying you did or you didn't. I really, frankly, don't care. This is a professional Q&A. I'm your attorney. I can't help you if you don't tell me the truth. So am I going to look through these phone records and find something that would really be a problem if they were discovered outside these walls? And if so, can you point me to where those are,
because
what those numbers are?
Yeah, because Lonnie, my assistant over Hugh, I'm looking down here, and there are about 49 calls between 2 and 5 in the morning. You're telling me those are to recruits?
Those are to your wife, Hugh, maybe? No, they're not to your wife. Okay. So,
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then all of a sudden, this story would never make the light of day. That's
all
all that needed to happen.
It's so easy. Or, frankly, an apology. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yo, you better give me.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Tallahassee or 926-1144 in Crawfordville. Online at ctf.nu.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, Tixx. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets. If you haven't stopped into Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney.
Hey, it's me, Marissa.
Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the Fourth Quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the Fourth Quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the Fourth Quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the Fourth Quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
You wake up to birds chirping before the alarm even starts to ring. It's 6 a.m. and dawn's barely here. A choir of birds singing in your ear. It was cute at first, but now it's just the worst. Wrap it up, guys. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
When you've had a morning, let us make you breakfast, like Taco Bell's Breakfast Crunch Wrap. A whole breakfast wrapped up and grilled to eat on the go. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Cubs put left-hander John Lester on the DL today with shoulder fatigue and a tight lat muscle. Lester is only 8-7 this year. He gave up 9 runs to the Reds on Thursday in less than 2 innings. Derek Jeter is hoping to become one of the new owners of the Marlins, but in the meantime, he and his wife Hannah are celebrating the birth of their first child, daughter Bella, on Thursday. One of the owners of the Nationals, Mark Lerner, tells the Washington Post he is now cancer-free, but after complications from surgery and treatment, his left leg was amputated. Lerner has been away from Nationals Park for several months. ESPN's Diana Rossini reports Panthers quarterback Cam Newton won't play in tomorrow's preseason game against the Titans. He's still recovering from shoulder surgery. And the Jaguars' starting quarterback job is now up for grabs. Blake Bortles has been the starter since his rookie year in 2014, but after last night's preseason loss to the Buccaneers, Chad Henne will now share first-team reps with Bortles.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney today for Levi's lowest prices of the season. Find select styles like Levi's 514 Straight Fit for $39.99 and 511 Slim Fit for $41.99. Deals like this won't last long. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And a fine libations Friday to you. We shall play in about, 5 to 7 minutes clip with Alec Eberle. A lot of questions surrounding Alec Eberle coming into this season. Big ones. Because it's fair, if a guy was playing as hurt as he was last year, and he definitely was hurt, that's documented, it's hard to know. First of all, it stands to reason that he's going to be better than he was then. So he's going to be a better player this year than he was last. A, just the experience of playing, but B, getting healthy, being able to work out, adding stability, flexibility, all of that. No matter what, he's going to be better. Is he going to be a great player? I don't know. Is he going to be a good player? I don't know. But he's going to be better than he was a year ago. But I think if you're holding out hope that this offensive line isn't going to be the Achilles heel of this football team this year, your hope is that he, along with what we're doing at left tackle, and every day we're kind of monitoring that situation. You just have to hope that both guys that have the injuries are bouncing back and going to have years that you couldn't have anticipated based on what you saw a year ago.
Well, it's another test of the old adage that just by getting older, your offensive line gets better. By getting more experience, it's just going to get better. And you look at the first half, and you ask Jimbo about this, and that'll run in the 5 o'clock hour. But you asked Jimbo about that offensive line that played against Notre Dame in the bowl game.
And he said, yeah, that's right. That's an amazing story,
That became the offensive line that helped define our national championship season.
And it's crazy to think Bobby Hart was 16, 17 years old, whatever he was out there playing college football in that game.
It is crazy. But, they did get better. And you hope that this is the next group that takes that step. But, it doesn't always work out that way. Just because you get older doesn't mean you get better. Just because you have more games of experience doesn't mean that you're going to be a better offensive lineman. And the problem is that the truth may be somewhere in the middle because you're facing such great defensive lines 3 times in the first 4 games. That it may be hard
for people to see, yeah.
Right.
Well, and again, Derek Kelly gave us a glimmer of hope his redshirt freshman year that he was going to be a good player. They were very high on him. He played well at times. Then he had the knee injury. And he hasn't played well when he's been given the opportunity since that time. But apparently this is the healthiest he's been, and he's stronger and more flexible as well. And then, of course, Alec Eberle last year, which we were lacking at center. That situation, you could see drastic improvement because he is smart. He does know the calls. He is well aware of what we're trying to do. He just couldn't perform it a year ago. And now he's a junior and healthy. So, okay, that's really your hope. Because I think Rick Leonard is serviceable. I think Minshew has a chance to be good. I think Landon Dickerson can be great. And so really it comes down to that.
It would just seem to me, given the way the tackle situation is right now, and given the makeup of a Dickerson and a Minshew with Eberle being healthier, it's a guess, and I could be dead wrong. But the way I feel about it, it seems like we'd be better running the football earlier on than in pass protection. The edges feel like the weakness, and the interior is big and nasty in your 2 guard positions if Minshew is healthy. But we know what Dickerson is. And then Eberle, is much bigger than he was.
And you're
last
loaded
season.
at running back.
Yeah, I just wonder.
But doesn't it seem odd to say, I agree with you, Tom, but doesn't it seem weird to say that you think you're going to line up and try to run the ball against Alabama?
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. Which puts you between a rock and a hard place.
Right. Because even if it's true, do you really think you can line up and run the ball against Alabama? LSU's offensive line is consistently better than ours. Leonard Fournette, a big, strong first-round pick, had no success against Alabama running the football. Then again, the counter to that is, well, that's fine, Jeff. LSU hasn't had a reasonably decent quarterback in forever. So why would they have respected the passing game? They knew all LSU had was the running game, was Leonard Fournette. They stacked the line and said, screw you. You can't do that with us. We've got 3 capable receivers and a signal caller that knows what he's doing pretty consistently in throwing the football, and a tight end. And that is a good counter.
Yes.
Quarterback
who can move to the perimeter himself, too. And Jimbo will move the pocket. He'll move you off your spots if you're a
So
defense.
you could create balance there.
We'll see. And it could be dead wrong. It feels like if you're looking at the roster and what we know about these people so far that are the 5 starters in the offensive line, it feels like maybe we might be trying to play a little bit more simple approach.
Well, double tights. Make everybody declare and then go from there. Actually, I'm fine with that. He's wanted to do it for a while now. And I'm okay with that.
Also, to peek behind the curtain, because I don't pull up our 20 BTI, But I took off the first question. The first question is feeling about Eberle's talking about having 2 good hips.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and again, for those just tuning in, there'll be a series of clips today on the program, a couple next hour and one in the 5 o'clock hour with Jimbo. This all is stuff that I did on Wednesday with Andy Staples from Sports Illustrated. We were asked to do a camp tour by SiriusXM, and they have a College Sports Nation station, channel 84. And they asked us to go over there and do several interviews with players and coaches, so we obliged. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm just glad we're able to use that audio to be on this show, and we can provide. And there are some interviews here that I did one with Josh Sweat, which we're not playing today, Jaquez Patrick, which we're not playing today. But we will post them online. Tom will put them up. We'll have them up after the show. We can every interview that was taken off that special that we did for SiriusXM, you can find, because a lot of people were asking last night. They don't have satellite. They said, "Hey, is there going to be a link?" So we'll post all of those. But right now, here's Alec Eberle.
It's definitely different. It's something to get used to be out there actually playing healthy and feeling good and feeling able to move and anchor up as offensive lineman. So it's definitely comforting, and it makes football a lot more fun.
So for those who don't know, you had a condition where the bones were too thick in your hips, created a bunch of pressure. You wound up tearing the labrums in each hip last year and playing through that.
Yeah.
Which, ow. How did you get yourself through it?
Pretty much the whole time. Like, I knew the whole season that something was messed up, and then I remember specific moments where I hurt, like the left side and the right side was prior to the season, but. The whole time I just knew that my team needed me to play, and I knew that it wasn't going to kill me if I played through this. And it was just one of those things where, like, you're not going to die, so just keep playing. Like, it's just an injury. Just keep pushing through.
It's got to be infinitely frustrating in that moment, though, because obviously you see plays that you could make if you were healthy, and you're trying to help the team, and yet your body is in many ways betraying you. I bet you couldn't wait to have, as much as it sounds weird to say, off-season surgery and get right and become the player you could be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after having the surgery, I was talking to my mom about it. She was saying, I mean, honestly, it was almost like a blessing in disguise. Yeah, it's hard getting surgery and going through that process, but at the same time, having the chance to sit back and watch practice and learn the game completely and then get back in and start playing and watch myself on film now compared to last year, the way I can move, the way I can pick up blitzes, and the way I can just, play laterally like I need to and actually roll through blocks and be strong. It's way different than it has ever been, and it's pretty cool to see the difference in that.
When I talked to you a couple weeks ago, you mentioned standing up in a team meeting and basically calling out the entire offensive line. What was the message you wanted to give to your group?
Pretty much, the offensive line is, like everybody knows, it's one of the most important parts of the team. But my main message was, Coach Strick has done everything possible he can do. He has us. He teaches us these techniques. He puts us in the positions to make the blocks. He gives us these new tools to learn and, like, these videos to watch and all this stuff to learn to be the best possible offensive lineman we can be. And I told the O-line, I was like, our coaches put us in position to be successful. Now it's our turn to, go out there and do our jobs. And I said, we have the capability of being one of the best O-lines in the country. And I said, there's no reason for our quarterback to ever touch the ground again and for our running backs not to break out long runs constantly.
I talked to Landon Dickerson on Media Day, and he mentioned that he felt like the offensive line was an area that was going to improve immensely. You guys took it personally every time DeAndre Francois took a hit, that it was an area where you feel like now the forward momentum is there in place. And going against your defensive line every day, in his mind, and I want to get your thoughts on this, certainly prepares you and then some for the likes of Alabama in the opener.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going against one of the best defensive lines, if not the best defensive line every day in practice. And so, watching us on film go against them and, do well, and also, I mean, they're putting the work on us. So having that chance to go against a team like that, a defense like that, it makes us be able to get better constantly and constantly face, an opponent that's going to try us nonstop. And so when you're going against great competition, it makes you only get better. So we look at it as a chance just for us to get better.
How much does it affect you guys as a team during the off season when you're preparing to know that Alabama is sitting out there waiting for you?
I mean, the biggest thing for us is, like, Coach Fisher always tells us, take one game at a time. The next opponent is the next opponent. No game is bigger than another game. Of course, it's a big game. It's two big powerhouse football teams going against each other, and it's the first game of the year. But at the same time, it's just another football game. You have to think of it like that. You can't get too – Coach Fisher always tells us, you can't let your emotions get too high too quick. So right now, we're preparing to play football. When we get to a week out, a week and a half out, we'll start game planning and we'll start getting into it. But you can't let your emotions get too high too quick. And like I said, also – it's just another team. I mean, Yeah, they're Alabama. They're a great football team, but at the same time, you can't do anything special for a different team. You have to compete or prepare to compete for each team the same way.
So, Alec, you guys struggled on the offensive line last year, but you had a bunch of injuries. You had to play a bunch of different combinations. Did that kind of get you ready for this season? Were there lessons that could be taken from all that?
Well, the biggest thing was last year, like you said, we had so many different guys in there, so many different combinations. It helps you get to know everybody you're playing with. So all the guys in the offensive line, last year they might not all start at the exact same time, but we all played against each other at some point. So this year we knew going into the year whoever ended up being the starting first 5 was going to be a good combination because we have, we've played together before. And so, and also having so many guys play last year makes everybody else have game experience. So like I said, coming into the season this year, we knew whoever ended up on the field was going to be, pretty well off, pretty well prepared. And so this year, having this group of linemen, I think that everybody out there, we've all played in our fair share of games, big games, smaller team games, doesn't matter. So I think that we have a pretty good experienced offensive line.
How's that competition going in camp so far? I know going into camp, Rick Leonard was moved over to left tackle. He's now back at right tackle, according to Jimbo Fisher. I know, obviously, Rick Trickett talks about finding the best 5, that is constant competition. How's that going in camp so far?
Well, competition breeds excellence. Nonstop guys going at it. You feel if a guy's fighting for your job, you want to continue to get better. The worst thing you can do as a collegiate athlete is get complacent. And so, I think competition helps you to not get complacent. It makes you stay humble, and it makes you constantly work to get better, to be the best. Because the better the guys behind you, the better you're going to want to be, so you don't lose your spot at the same time get to keep playing.
So, with DeAndre starting for the first time last year and taking the hits he did, keeping going and ending the season the way he did, how much respect did he earn in the locker room just because of his toughness?
Yeah, Johnny's a really tough guy. Like you said, he got hit a lot last year where he shouldn't have got hit a lot last year. That was our fault. But at the same time, the biggest thing with DeAndre is he never lost faith in us as an offensive line. He always stayed positive, always was there for us, always trying to figure out what he could do to help us. And so him doing that helped us all to even grow our respect even more for him. So we know he's a tough guy, but at the same time he's a leader. He never once turned his back on us and never once got mad at us. He's always there for us constantly, and now it's our turn to repay the favor and not let him get hit this year.
You sense a comfort level in him. Obviously, last year as a redshirt freshman playing, kind of filling that role and coming into his own role. He seems to be, at least talking to him on media day, a more confident guy and a guy who has a real good grasp of the offense.
Yeah, definitely. After playing a whole year last year and then went through the ups and the downs, the big games, he grew up a lot. And then this summer he grew up even more. And it's kind of been like we've all kind of gone through together, because I know I started the year before he got here for the last couple of games, but at the same time, last year was my first full season, so we went through it together. Then last year was his first full season as well. And so this year, we're going in it together, and at the same time, we're helping the rest of the offense grow. And he's doing a great job of taking grasp of the team and taking them with him.
All right. Well, Alec, thank you so much. Good luck. Enjoy being able to move around like everybody else does now. I bet that's fun.
Oh yeah, thank y'all so much.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Neese Tire and Auto Service. Neese has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Neese Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
74 Gretna, Florida.
This year's Kingfish Tournament is in the books. Although the weather wasn't the best, over 55 boaters registered for the tournament, and Sea Quarters Marina would like to thank everyone that came out. $50,000 was raised for leukemia research this year, which brings the total to $915,000 over 14 years. The winning kingfish, caught by Team Bill Collector, weighed 47 pounds, and the winning Spanish mackerel, caught by Team Neil Brooks Electric, weighed 5 pounds. Additionally, fishermen donated approximately 1,000 pounds, which will be sold to raise funds for leukemia research. Sea Quarters Marina hopes to see you at the 2018 Kingfish Tournament.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Nina Davis, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about our Triple Play advertising campaign so we can grow your business. It's football season, so everyone's listening. Call me, Nina Davis, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee's Sports Monster.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he wants it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Cubs put left-hander John Lester on the DL today with shoulder fatigue and a tight lat muscle. Lester is only 8-7 this year. He gave up 9 runs to the Reds on Thursday in less than 2 innings. Derek Jeter is hoping to become one of the new owners of the Marlins, but in the meantime, he and his wife Hannah are celebrating the birth of their first child, daughter Bella, on Thursday. One of the owners of the Nationals, Mark Lerner, tells the Washington Post he is now cancer-free, but after complications from surgery and treatment, his left leg was amputated. Lerner has been away from Nationals Park for several months. ESPN's Diana Rossini reports Panthers quarterback Cam Newton won't play in tomorrow's preseason game against the Titans. He's still recovering from shoulder surgery. And the Jaguars' starting quarterback job is now up for grabs. Blake Bortles has been the starter since his rookie year in 2014, but after last night's preseason loss to the Buccaneers, Chad Henne will now share first-team reps with Bortles.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney today for Levi's lowest prices of the season. Find select styles like Levi's 514 Straight Fit for $39.99 and 511 Slim Fit for $41.99. Deals like this won't last long. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Libations Friday, loosey-goosey edition of the program. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you're well. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything, but if you miss something, go find it. All 3 hours posted every day upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. 5 o'clock hour, Jimbo Fisher interview from Wednesday, about 20-something minutes or thereabouts. Coming up, Derwin James. Later this hour, Stan Wilcox. What? All kinds of goodness. So there you go.
It's like an unofficial second media day.
It is. It's good. It's opportunity. We had that opportunity. My part-time employer, which is SiriusXM, does this thing called camp tours for people wondering what prompted all this. And they go, actually, it's kind of cool, Tom, and it's great about covering a school like Florida State. We both know that. But they used to do these camp tours, I'm told. I don't know. I wasn't with SiriusXM at the time. But they used to do these camp tours for, I think, all 25 of the top 25 teams or thereabouts. But like every other media outlet, they've cut budget-wise, and they're not doing that. So I think they're only doing 5 to 10 this year, and Florida State being a top 5 team is one of them that they're doing. So there's one on Alabama, one on Florida State, one on Ohio State, and a couple more, I think, and that's it. So if you're not in one of those markets and you're in the media and you work for you don't get it. So really cool to have the opportunity. And I went over there this week with Andy Staples from Sports Illustrated, who also does part-time work for SiriusXM, and we got to interview Fisher, and we got to interview Stan Wilcox, and got to interview Derwin James, and a lot of other players, some of which we're not using today, but we'll put the audio for all those things up on our website.
Man, if we're outside the top 10 next year, which I can't envision, although we do lose a lot on defense. Anyway, if Sirius says no, you should just say, well, just let me go anyway, and I'll send you content, because the access is incredible. Listening to this audio, and reviewing the audio, we get great access on Media Day. There's a broadcast room, and then there's a breakout room, so that you get plenty of stuff, but you are battling with a bunch of other media people, even in the broadcast room, which is a smaller room. So just to hear how an experience goes, and you tell the story of it behind the scenes, man, that's one-on-one. It's like when Chris Lowe went through for ESPN.com, and he went behind the scenes with the coaching staff for a day. It's that kind of access. I mean, they let you kind of in behind the scenes in a way that you don't get on a media day.
I enjoyed it, and I was almost kid-like being over there, and I would like to have these opportunities moving forward to continue to do this. Derwin James is about to reveal in this interview that he was hit by a car 3 times. Well, it's funny because that interview, and in this interview where he talks about this, now I think some other people had that before, it had been mentioned before, but he tells the story. What's funny about it is that got picked up nationally. CBS and other people have now used the audio from what Andy and I did over there. It's fascinating. That wouldn't have happened if we didn't have this time to sit down, relax, and just sort of laugh and talk about things. And those guys all were really accommodating, and so I feel fortunate. And I'm looking to do. Listen, I'll say this, and I know they listen to this show sometimes, so I don't mean to offend them. The Jeff Cameron Show is my focus. This is what I do. This got my name on it. It's what I've done for nearly 20 years, what we do on a daily basis. I'm doing part-time work for SiriusXM, which I like doing because it's still in the sports field. But if that part-time work for them gives us that kind of access that we then can utilize the audio on the Jeff Cameron Show, well, to me, that's everything.
Yeah, it's worth its weight in gold.
Right, because we get to bring it to the listeners who don't have satellite radio and who care more passionately, certainly, about this team right over there.
You'd even send money up the line to SiriusXM to do it, right? Just for the right.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they did pay me.
Oh, there's
okay.
Well,
there's work involved. Yeah, I'm not doing everything for free. It's sure, but it was more time consuming than work. You have to sit there. Kind of, because Florida State's
just sitting there, brutal.
Just sitting there is right. You are just sitting there, kind of staring at a wall. It's not labor intensive. It is time consuming, and so you're sitting there.
Bet you got to know Andy real well.
I did. We had a wonderful breakfast at Old Jim and Milt's, to give him a plug where I probably shouldn't, but that's a institution.
Yeah.
So many a pitcher of beer has gone down smooth. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Back in my day, to do the old man thing, we used to go My buddy Joey used to work there. He's back there.
Oh, he worked there.
Oh, well, see, okay, so let me just say this. The apartment complex across the street from Jim and Milt's used to be, I don't know if it is now, was owned by the owner of Jim and Milt's. I lived there for a time, and if you lived there, Monsell, you got a percentage off of your meals there at Jim and Milt's as an incentive to rent those apartments. And I was out of school at the time, but freshly out of school, and I needed a place to live, and they're relatively cheap, and I was broke, and so the idea of walking across the street and being able to eat there at a discount sounded good. And walking, beach driving, if you're going to watch football and have pictures on a Sunday and hang out with your buddies. Plus, my buddy worked there, so the discount was doubled down upon. And if you worked there at that time, this is 1992 or 3, if you worked there at that time, as Joey did as a cook, you got free food. And Joey's a big man. He's 6'4", 240. And he would come out from behind the kitchen, from back of the kitchen after working there all day to sit down. And we're watching. You want to talk about this? Is crazy. We would watch Bucks games or the game of the week, whatever it was, on these little 32-inch televisions, you know. And we thought it was the greatest thing in the world just to have that TV in the corner, pitchers of beer, and ribs for as far as the eye could see, because he would just bring all the ones that people didn't eat. That people didn't, you know, I mean, when the place was closing down, if we were staying late, he'd be like, oh, we got all these ribs. Let's do it up.
Oh, man.
It was heaven. But he stunk, and he was covered in barbecue sauce at all times, and we would stuff our face and enjoy ourselves. I regaled Andy with that story while we were prepping to make our way over to Florida State this week to interview coaches and players.
Man, there's a certain establishment that may or may not be open in Tallahassee anymore, but I'll still, just in case, keep its name on the low. There was a guy we didn't know. We just befriended him behind the bar. Mm-hmm. Nice guy. And this isn't even wink, wink. No, I did not know this guy. He just wore a Tony Romo jersey to work every week.
That's how young you are.
NFL Sundays.
Tony Romo.
Okay, so yeah, that's the jersey he would wear. And if you bought a pitcher of beer at this establishment, you'd get 3 for the price of 1. I mean, he would close out every day at 4, and then he'd switch over.
That guy was doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, this was right out of college, same kind of time period in my life. I was with a couple of people you may know.
Uh-huh.
And every week, I mean, the bill was maybe $15, $20. And you'd have food.
College towns, man.
Oh,
college towns in general.
That guy is a saint.
He is.
And if I ever see him,
Jimmy the Saint,
I wouldn't recognize him. But if I saw him and he recognized me and said that's who he was,
You'd
Tony
say,
Romo, I'd say,
sir, can I buy your dinner tonight?
Can I buy you like a week's worth of food at Publix?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've saved me more than you could ever imagine.
Oh, my God.
Well, and when I lived there off of Monsell, and by the way, this is all precursor. You're about to hear from Derwin James. So before you get angry, settle down. We got plenty of content for you.
Next segment. Jeez, people.
You'll be all right. But here's the thing. When I lived there, that used to be a Buffalo's or whatever it was. The chicken place now, it's California Chicken now, I think it is.
Oh,
but it used
I
to
missed
be,
that place too.
Yeah, the wing joint. I used to go, well, I missed that place too, but this used to be
Grilled
the wing
chicken wrap, man.
Yeah.
Boy, too much free love.
We used to go up there and sit and eat wings all evening on the deck. And back then, I was fond of a cigar or two. And one time, I don't know why, it was probably a silly, drunken thing to do. And I'm in the habit of revealing probably far too many transgressions on the air over the years. But I'll do it again.
That you still have new ones is incredible.
Well, I guess some I can look back on as immaturity and laugh, and others, they're just shameful. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. Anyhow, the point is, I was on the deck with my buddy, and we'd been up there a while, and I had a cigar, and I don't know why when I finished the cigar, I thought it'd be funny to throw it over my shoulder.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so here's the thing about that. I did know this. I did know that we were getting ready to leave, and so this was probably for shock value and effect because you had to walk down the steps, and I knew I could pick up the cigar. I lived right there. I was going to throw it away, but I thought I'd shock the people at the table. And so I go, whoop, all done with this cigar. And it was still lit down towards the nub. And I threw it back over my shoulder off the deck. And they went, dude, what are you doing? You just threw the cigar off the deck. What if you hit somebody? I'm like, I'm not going to hit anybody. Well, it landed in a convertible.
Oh. Yeah, it did.
It landed in a
because of course it did.
Of course it did, because I'm an irresponsible ass. And it landed in a BMW convertible on tan leather on the passenger seat. And so I didn't get up right away, but my buddy did, and he goes, hey, dude, you landed in that guy's convertible. And he was downstairs ordering food to go, so he was going to be back in his car.
So he wasn't in the car at the moment.
No, he wasn't in the car.
That would have been a problem.
Well, the car was empty. So I raced down the steps to go get it out of his car before he walked back out. And as I was coming down the steps, he walked out. And I thought, oh, Jesus.
So the play is no play.
The play is no play. I did freeze. And then I pretended I had to pee, and I went into the bathroom. And I came out, and he was furious. He was furious by his car.
You were probably white as a ghost with guilt.
Maybe. I don't think so. I mean, I had been drinking, so I don't know if I felt the same sort of guilt you should feel.
What's the problem out here?
Yeah, so I walked out the door, and the guy goes, "Did you see who threw this?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Somebody has dropped a cigar. Look at my car." And he was furious, and my friends are laughing on the deck, and I'm having a casual conversation with this guy. I go, "What are you talking about?" And I played dumb. If he's still in town listening, he's like, "It was you,
Jeff
Cameron. Cameron." What? So he had a burn mark on his passenger seat.
Dude.
I was broke. I couldn't offer any help. It was an asinine thing. I feel bad about it to this day. Well, not that bad. Not that bad. I shouldn't have done it. I admit that. I should not have done that. But I did do it. I'm clean on this show. I come clean.
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
I told you the story of the cop coming up the stairs at Bullwinkle's.
Right.
Because I tossed my drink over the side to look tough.
Yeah. See?
You know?
The dumb things we do influenced. Yeah.
Plastic cup with a few ice cubes. I just
Right.
tossed over the side. And if you know it, like there's the parking lot there, but then there are hedges. So it probably dropped in the hedges, whatever. And the cop comes up and he thinks it's my friend Chris. And he tells, you're out of here. And I said the stupidest thing I ever could. I said, not a chance. Like that. Like tough.
Oh.
And he goes, excuse me?
That makes me cringe.
And he looked at me. I go, I am so sorry. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where that came from.
I
right?
walked down the stairs. I was gone too. He's like, you're gone. I was like, I'm gone too. He goes, you're damn right you're gone.
Yeah,
like,
and you're like,
yes.
Yep. You had
Going
a
to Fort Paul's.
temporary moment.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you had a temporary moment of machismo as influenced by alcohol and youth, and realized milliseconds later that was absolutely absurd. And so but see, once my realization was that was dumb.
Yeah.
And I was really unlucky. I mean, what are the chances that there was a convertible? It's awfully unlucky.
Yeah. But it's just amazing what happens in your head versus reality.
Yes.
You know? In my head, I was saying in this particular officer, you know what? It's actually me. I'm sorry. I'll leave. And what actually came out was not a chance.
Which is crazy person stuff, right?
What's your problem?
Clown, right? You would have been, I mean, if you heard somebody else do that, you'd be like, look at this idiot. If I saw somebody throw a cigar over their shoulder, I'd be like, look at that idiot. But I walked down there, and that guy was very angry. He had a little burn mark there, and it happens.
You ever see a guy get testy with a bartender who can handle himself?
Oh, sure. I've been in enough
Bullwinkle's.
Yeah, bars.
Because I knew the guy was, he was badass, bona fide badass, and he basically warned the dude, this drunk college kid, 2 or 3 times, don't start with me, man.
Don't.
Like, seriously.
I'm not doing. Yeah.
First of all, you're drunk. Second of all, you don't know what you're going to get into.
Mm-hmm. We're close here.
He pushed the button again. He was a habitual line stepper.
Line steppers.
Cheek met face of the bar, the top of the bar, and he was dragged down the stairs in a full Nelson, and he was tossed aside, and away he went.
Cold-blooded. Coming up next, Derwin James. Hang in.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Hey, Wally Woodham here. In 1974, I set the national high school passing record at Leon High with 3,560 yards.
Jimmy Jordan here. Wally, I broke your passing record at Leon the very next year.
Well, Jimmy, in our 3 years together at FSU, I threw for 22 touchdown passes.
Wally, that's pretty good, but I had 39.
Well, Jimmy, look at the deal I got at AAA Transmission.
That's a pretty good deal, Wally. At least your car's a winner.
Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop in at AAA Transmission and ask for owner Tim Pridgeon, servicing Tallahassee for over 30 years. AAA Transmission, 1023 North Monroe Street, or call them at 222-2532.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that. Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
Every Friday, RCD Shell is giving you more bubbles for your buck. 1 liter Mountain Dew products are only 89 cents. When the temperature goes up, cool yourself down with cold, refreshing Mountain Dew and Diet Dew 1 liters for just 89 cents. RCD Shell and Mountain Dew, saving you money and keeping you refreshed.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
All right, as promised, we had a chance on Wednesday to talk with Derwin James, superstar. Stays healthy. He's going to have a massive year. It's myself, Andy Staples from Sports Illustrated. This was from the camp tour. Enjoy our conversation with Derwin James. First topic, playing nose guard in high school.
I was looking at the film, and the team who was playing, their center was kind of having trouble with snapping the ball, and he every time he'll snap the ball, he never really looked up to block fast. So I told my coach, I feel like he wasn't that big of a guy. So I told my coach I can play nose guard. I think by the time he snapped the ball, I can get to the quarterback or affect the way him snapping the ball. So I was just like, let's just try it. So we installed it that weekend. We did it in the game, and it actually worked. And I looked to the sideline when I made the tackle goal. I looked to the sideline and said, I told you. So
were you like 180 then, or
probably 170, 185, something like that. I don't know.
Out of curiosity, what are you weighing now?
So I'm 220. I'm trying to get around 220.
So I was gonna say, what do you want to play at? What makes you most comfortable?
Like 215, 218, around that range. I'm 220 right now, but I feel good right now. Like you say, towards the first game, I want to be like 215.
How anxious are you to get out there and play in a game again? It's been a long time. You got hurt week 2 of last year. What was that like watching the rest of the season?
Like I said, it was devastating. Just sitting back, just watching my team. Like I said earlier, it was just devastating. It was hard. Because like I said, I never really have been injured before, and like I said, it was very tough, and it was just I had to get used to it, and not being out there. So.
It's well documented. It's been talked about. You've been asked about it a million times. This will be the last one. Did you know instantly?
No, it won't.
Did you know? Yeah, it's true. Did you know instantly I'm in trouble. I mean, the play looked innocuous enough. You try to get up, but then you could sense that obviously you were hurt. Did you know it was that bad?
No, at first I didn't know it was that bad because, you know, I've always been a person, you know, I get bumps and bruises and, you know, I learned to fight through them. So it was just one of those things. I kind of felt like it was like my ankle or something, but then I thought about it, I was like, well, my ankles are taped. They're spattered up, so there's no way it can be my ankle. So then when I got to the tent, I walked over to the tent. I thought I was good when I was just walking off the sideline with the trainers. I thought I was good. Then when I got in the tent, out of nowhere, it just locked up on me. So I was like, let me try to run and let me try to jog it off. The doctor was like, no, hold up, it might be serious. He was like, can you lock out your leg? And then I was like, no, I can't lock it up. It was like when I tried to lock it out, it was like a door jam. So I was just in my mind, 1,000 things were going through my head because I was just like, dang, I want to get back out there, I want to play. But at the same time, they was like, we're going to go back in, we're going to get an x-ray on it and check it out. So then I was just like, oh, man. So on that cart, on my way back into the locker room, it was just like I was just thinking a million things. And I was just hoping and praying that it wasn't nothing serious. And, you know, I can hopefully come back to the game, come from the locker room and come back to the game. But like I said, it was like, well, we're going to have to get an MRI on it. And
what'd you learn being on the sideline after that injury? I mean, obviously it's tough to watch, but you were there every game. So what did you learn about the defense and your role in it and what they're trying to do?
That I was a big part of the team last year, and, you know, like I said, I just felt bad, you know, not being there for my teammates. Even though it was out of my control, you know, I just felt bad just watching it. And, you know, it was just one of those things I had to learn that, you know, everything happens for a reason, and you know, you just got to be patient with some things. You know, that was one of those things I had to be patient with.
Was there something scheme-wise, though, that you were able to pick up over the time that you were out?
Yeah, definitely. I became more of a coach when I was out. I became more of a coach and a student of the game even more because, like you said, I wasn't playing, so I had so much time to watch film. And me and Coach would be up there. Sometimes we'll be watching film, and, you know, he'll ask me what I see, and you know, I gave him what I see, and then it was just. I was more of a coach. It was more of a coaching role.
With the amount of different things you can do, how much does having a better understanding of the defense from watching it like that help you?
Oh, it helps me a lot because, you know, like you said, I'm playing all these multiple positions. You know, I got to know what every guy on the field is doing, including the offense, what they're trying to do and what they're trying to attack. So it's a lot of learning, you know, but like you said, my parents raised me right to be this smart kid. So, you know, it's not nothing that I don't pick up on. So it was just I had to learn a lot. And like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot of hours and a lot of film. And, you know, like I said, you got to go through the motion. And with me sitting out last year, it helped me a lot to be able to play these positions this year, even at a higher level.
So you've mentioned before this was the first extended period you'd missed. But I read a story about you when you were a kid. When you were riding your bike around a bunch as a kid, you got hit by a couple cars?
Oh, yeah, I got hit by a car 3 times growing up.
Good Lord!
You can laugh because you're standing here, but
oh yeah.
What happened to the cars?
Does that happen?
Oh man, it's crazy.
Were you like the most reckless kid ever?
I was bad, man. I was bad. You know, I used to run into fences. I got hit actually twice by the same person.
Oh no!
So it was kind of crazy. My mom was like, okay, all right. So and it was just like one of those guys, you know, local guy in the neighborhood. Like both times, one time it wasn't my fault. One time I had ran. He was crossing the median. And I was coming across my bike, and I didn't have any brakes on my bike.
So this is a cue to get some brakes. Mom, give me a bike with brakes.
Stay out that bike like a lot of times, and you know I was just one of those kids. I'll go outside from early in the morning to stay out till, you know, the street lights come on. So it was just like I had a bike with no brakes, and, you know, instead of jumping off the bike, I ran into the door, and I had bust my head open. Oh, no. I had bust my head open. I had to get staples in my head for that one. Then the other time I got hit, I landed on top of the hood. And then there was another time I just ran. The car was parked. I ran slap into the car.
Oh, no.
So that's not getting hit by a car. That's you hitting a car.
Yeah. I hit a car. So I say it's 3-0 right now.
So,
the car's up for 3-0.
So when the guy hits you a second time, is he
man.
You again?
Oh, man, me again, yeah. And he was very close to our family. He was a guy, like I said, he used to you know, he was a local guy in the community, you know, and, you know, anytime we needed our bike, you know, air pumps or anything, he was one of those guys, you know, just help us out. And it was just like he had hit me again, so he was like, "Oh, your mom's gonna kill me." And my mom's one of those guys. She one of those persons. She don't have no filter, so she was just like. And then I had to go tell her, "Nah, mom, it was me." You know, she was at work. I had called her from the hospital. My stepdad had took me up to the emergency room when I had got my staples, and I had told her. And then she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "The same person." And then she's like, well,
I'm sure she said some nice.
Yeah, I can't say exactly what she said, but, you know, it was some good words.
I don't even know where to go after that.
Well, that's the thing. You can handle 3 cars.
Yeah.
You know, there's an Alabama, offensive lineman coming free, coming downfield on a screen, not bother you as much.
Nah, that doesn't bother me. It's football. Like I said, it's football.
How many times have you seen the GIF of you throwing the offensive lineman from Florida into the backfield?
Man, I see it a lot because of course I got a lot of friends that use social media, and a lot of my parents like to joke around. Even my dad, he give me a hard time about it because he said it's a good play, but it's bad play because I gave up contain on it. The quarterback scrambled out and threw the ball away. So he give me a hard time about it all the time, about just finishing plays and like I said.
Florida State fans will never give you a hard time about that play.
Yeah.
Is that bad though? The play that everybody points to and the one that everybody keeps bringing back up is not not good for you. You wouldn't consider that a good one. Yeah,
it's not good for me. Like you said, it wasn't good because I had contain on that, and I let the quarterback scramble out and get the ball off. It could have been a sack or a big play that helped change the game.
How is camp going leading up to Alabama? I know you guys are trying to stay focused. It's a singular game, but it's a big one.
Yeah, of course, this is a big game. I can't tell you no lies. It's a big game. Like I said, camp has been good. We've been working very hard, extremely hard, and we just focus on the details and everybody doing their assignment and just finishing drives, finishing plays, and running to the ball, especially on defense and offense. They even chasing the ball. So I think we're going in the right direction.
Given the way things were going last year, where things could have gone downhill quick and this team rallied and finished strong, what did you guys learn from that experience that you can take into this season?
We just really trying to carry in that momentum that we had from the Orange Bowl win. And like I said, at the end of the season, we picked it up more, and it's like a switch that clicked. And we're trying to just continue to ride that wave, from last season and bringing it into this year.
All right, that is Derwin James. You have brakes on your bicycle now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you even have a bike?
Yeah. My mom said I better not have a bike. She said you better go into the training room and ride those kind of bikes if you want to exercise. So it's great, though.
Thanks, Derwin.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sir Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the fourth quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the fourth quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the fourth quarter bar and grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
So your AC is on the fritz? Call Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for help, day or night. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, 580-4029 or BaranoAC.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
At the Home Depot, free carpet installation means free carpet installation. And free includes clearing out furniture, ripping out old carpet, hauling it away, even carpeting stairs. with no hidden fees. Free installation on carpet $699 or more means free installation. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid on carpet priced $1 or more per square foot. Specialty items may be priced separately.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Cubs put left-hander John Lester on the DL today with shoulder fatigue and a tight lat muscle. Lester is only 8-7 this year. He gave up 9 runs to the Reds on Thursday in less than 2 innings. Derek Jeter is hoping to become one of the new owners of the Marlins, but in the meantime, he and his wife Hannah are celebrating the birth of their first child, daughter Bella, on Thursday. One of the owners of the Nationals, Mark Lerner, tells the Washington Post he is now cancer-free, but after complications from surgery and treatment, his left leg was amputated. Lerner has been away from Nationals Park for several months. ESPN's Diana Rossini reports Panthers quarterback Cam Newton won't play in tomorrow's preseason game against the Titans. He's still recovering from shoulder surgery. And the Jaguars' starting quarterback job is now up for grabs. Blake Bortles has been the starter since his rookie year in 2014, but after last night's preseason loss to the Buccaneers, Chad Henne will now share first-team reps with Bortles.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney today for Levi's lowest prices of the season. Find select styles like Levi's 514 Straight Fit for $39.99 and 511 Slim Fit for $41.99. Deals like this won't last long. That's getting your penny's worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Nice on a Libations Friday, loosey-goosey edition of the program. Hello. Cuts from interviews earlier in the week. This is an interview that we did with, he speaks. That's right. We were able to wrangle him. And he's quite friendly and was enjoyable to talk to and actually had a personality, had a little fun. You'll hear that in the interview.
He said the word ass.
He does say the word ass. In fact, it's interesting. This interview begins with, by the way, again, just so that you know when you hear the other voice, because some of you might say, well, that's not Jeff. Who the hell is that other person? It's Andy Staples. I did work with him this week for a show on Sirius XM called Camp Tours, and it was FSU. So we asked players and coaches a lot of questions. Anyhow, you'll hear that. Just that's who it is. But I asked early on here when Stan Wilcox, athletic director, Florida State University, came into the room. We start the interview with a question about what it was like to come from Duke, where he's helping David Cutcliffe and that group kind of prepare them, and that program was on the rise to taking the job at Florida State University, and in a weird way, taking a job that's ready-made to have success, and walking into a situation where Florida State is very successful and on the cusp, in this case, of winning a national championship, and having the pieces in place to succeed. Here's Stan Wilcox, athletic director for Florida State University.
Number one, it's great. It's being entrusted with such a great program. It's like, you have a friend that has this great Maserati, and he allows you to, gives you the keys and says you can go with it. My first year here, it was very exciting, obviously, because we won the national championship that year. But at the same time, I had just come from Duke, where we were building that program there, and I told the coaches at the beginning of that year at Duke, I said, hey, you guys are going to be really good this year. I know it, and I want you guys to hopefully meet us in Charlotte.
And you did.
Yeah, we did. And I told them at the time, though, I said, but understand that if you make it there, we're gonna kick your ass too.
Well, with all that success, then it stands to reason then that right off the bat, you've had to deal with people coming trying to poach your head coach at the end of every season as an athletic director. Obviously, you have to have a plan for that, and you on a yearly basis have had to deal with that. I guess your thoughts, expound a little bit what that's like.
Sure, and anytime you have any program that has that much success, your head coach is going to be courted by many institutions that are looking to have that individual come do the same for their institution. So, what we always have to do at the end of any season is we have to do an evaluation of where we're at, how we finish that season, and where does our head coach then fit within the national spectrum of major programs and the ones that have been successful. And we want to make sure that we're competitive from that perspective, as far as making sure that they have a contract that they feel happy with and comfortable with, and make sure that this is the place that they still want to be at and play and coach at. And we do whatever we can to make sure that we can meet those expectations. So it's been we've been pretty successful so far, and we're going to try to continue that trend and make sure that all our coaches, particularly Jimbo Fisher, is happy where he's at.
So people always think it's all about the salary and but how much do coaches, and it's not just Jimbo, but coaches in every sport, care about giving them the tools they need to do their job, be that a budget for assistants or different facility needs? How much, where does that rank on the priority list when you're talking to these guys about?
Well, it actually ranks very high, because for any coach to be successful, they have to have the ability to, number one, have a good staff. In order to get a very good competitive staff, they also have to have competitive salaries for those individuals and benefits. They have to have the ability to sell this their program to would-be recruits, and so they have to have some top-notch facilities to be able to say that, hey, our facilities are just as good as the person down the road or this other institution. They've got to have all the tools necessary to sell this program in this institution in order for their program to be successful and continue to be successful. So, beyond salary, all those other things, the facilities, the academic support services, where our kids going to be eating, where they're going to be practicing, where they're going to be competing, all of those have to be top notch. And on an annual basis, we're doing that. We continue to look in how we can improve and help that coach in that particular sport continue to grow their program and stay ahead of the curve in recruiting.
One of the things that's happening now on that front, you're describing the arms race, if you will, as it's called, is that head coaches at a lot of the elite institutions are asking for a football-only facility. Your thoughts on that and the direction that's moving?
Well, yeah, that is a direction that everybody's going in, and I've come from two institutions where they've had that. Notre Dame was one of the first ones that created the googly amino, it's called, and
I can't spell that. We just say
that's you got to let that one kind of roll off the tongue. and Duke has the Yo facility there, and so it's become more and more as the student athlete's time demands become more complicated and jam-packed. It becomes a lot easier for you to kind of have them spend a lot of their time in maybe one location where they can, and in that particular location, they're able to have their athletics training, their strength and conditioning, their meals, their training table, and all their locker room being there, their breakout rooms, etc. So it makes it a lot easier for the kids when they're trying to balance their academics and their school responsibilities and the hours that they have to spend in studying with the hours that they have to spend in their particular sport, particularly obviously in the sport of football, the hours that they're spending, getting prepared on a weekly basis, not only during the season, but even outside the season, it just makes a lot more sense to have a facility that's dedicated for those athletes because, in football you have numbers. You have a large number of kids that you are responsible for, and it just makes more sense and a lot easier when you do have one facility where you can have them all do a large percentage of the things that they're responsible for while they're here as student athletes.
So Jimbo would have liked that yesterday. How is the planning going on that particular facility?
Well, as a matter of fact, we have a meeting next Monday as we're still kind of doing our feasibility study. We have to take a look at whether or not it makes sense to build a standalone facility. Does it make sense to retrofit the Moore Center here and create another facility for some of our other sports? So we're doing our feasibility study on it. We're on track to make sure that we make it happen, and we've got our Seminole Booster organization up and running, and we want to get them some real good renderings